violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
One of the women accused of causing this horrific crash in Los Angeles yesterday is from Houston. Here's a closer look now at what happened. Surveillance video captured a Mercedes speeding.
Woo! These women are insane. And apparently this woman who did this ran into flowing traffic, ran a stoplight because of a fight with her boyfriend. They broke up. She's a traveling nurse and she was sprung
Right through a busy intersection, hitting several cars. 6 people were killed, including a pregnant woman and her unborn child, also killing her baby boy just shy of his first birthday.
Wow. I mean, this is insane. Apparently she wanted to self-delete, but why would you take out other people in your self-deletion? That is like a lot of, that's some of the selfishness that a lot of these sisters have, y'all. Like, just run into, I don't know, a brick wall or something. But don't take out other people's lives. If you want to do it, you know, in a vehicle, just don't wear your seatbelt. But this is insane. This was a cry for help. And, I mean, she took out 6 people. And a baby, pregnant woman. It's crazy.
The driver of the Mercedes has been identified as 37-year-old Nicole Linton, a nurse from Houston who was working in Los Angeles. She is still in the hospital, but once she is released, she'll be taken to jail for vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah, get her up out of here. Give her life, bruh. She wanted to take everybody's life and hers. Give her life.
And gross negligence.
In Southern California, a chilling video of a driver running a red light is being shared. A violent, fiery crash killing at least 6 people and injuring 7 others. We are choosing not to show the video of the crash due to the graphic nature.
Damn.
The CHP says a Mercedes was speeding out.
Them joints got cooked.
Out of control yesterday, running a red light and slamming into several cars in Windsor Hills, just north of Inglewood. At least 6 vehicles were involved. 3 of them burst into flames after the impact. Investigators say the driver of the Mercedes is a woman around 40 years old. She survived the crash and is hospitalized. She is expected to face multiple charges.
A woman arrested in that fiery crash that killed 6 people and injured several others in Windsor Hills.
It was captured on surveillance video. The driver is suspected of speeding through an intersection and running a red light in the middle of the day. She's identified as 37-year-old Nicole Linton, arrested on suspicion of vehicular manslaughter. Linton sustained moderate injuries in the collision. Among the victims, a pregnant woman and her unborn child. And Eyewitness News reporter David Gonzalez is live in Windsor Hills with more of the crash and what we're now learning about the victims. David.
David, this tragedy has just impacted so many people in this community, and that is because it could have been any of us in this intersection when that crash happened. Now just take a look at this memorial that has been growing at this intersection ever since that crash took place. And tonight we're adding faces and names to some of those killed. We spoke to one family who's absolutely devastated by this whole thing.
We're still going through the stages of grieving, and we're just at stage 1.
Shauna Kerr and her family are in utter shock as they try to process the tragic death.
Wow, man. Woman had a lot of life to live. Just had a child. And she gets taken out by another woman. Talk about female empowerment, y'all. Like, this just goes to show that this woman didn't even think of who she was going to crash into. She just, I guess she just wanted to die.
Deaths of her older sister, Asherey Ryan, her 11-month-old nephew, Alonzo, and Asherey's unborn child.
We're in denial. We're in denial because that stuff happens on movies. That stuff happens 1 in a million.
Shauna says her loved ones were killed when a driver in a
Woo! That joint was going super fast. I could barely catch it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, wow.
driver in a Mercedes coupe barreled through the intersection of La Brea and Slauson on Thursday. She says her sister, who she called Ray Ray, had just left her home and was heading to her 3rd trimester checkup when the crash happened.
Wow.
She literally walked out the door because we all live together. And she said, okay, I love y'all. I'm going to my doctor's appointment to check up on the baby.
Shauna says she offered to watch Alonzo, but Asherey wanted to take her son for a car ride.
God. What a beautiful baby. And they keep telling us, oh, women, they're nurturers. And it's like, how many of these super sister gremlins on Demon Time have we covered? It is outrageous, and it's just growing.
Because when I look at my son, I see my nephew. My nephew was my son's first best friend. My nephew was like my son's brother. All they know were each other.
And while Asherey's family is broken, they are leaning on their faith for comfort and peace. They now look to the driver of that Mercedes for answers as to what led to the crash.
On behalf of my family, we forgive you.
No, sis, no. Already? They ain't even been buried yet. Y'all ain't even had the funeral. You don't want to sleep on it? God.
We experienced this terrible loss, but we believe in God, and we believe God does everything for a reason.
And here's a live look at that growing memorial at this intersection. And with the
That one was crazy, though. Y'all got, all the God-fearing people, respect to y'all for real. But that one was crazy. This had nothing to do with God. This had something to do with her. These super sister gremlins are on Demon Time.
In the last hour, we just learned through Asherey's family that Asherey's boyfriend was also in the car, and he's one of those 6 people killed in this accident. They have identified him as 24-year-old Reynold Lester. They have also set up a GoFundMe page to help the family with all of their funeral expenses, and we posted that link inside this story on our website at abc7.com.
Candles and flowers placed at a memorial for the victims of that deadly crash in Windsor Hills. 6 people died when a speeding car ran a red light and plowed into vehicles in the crowded intersection. Among the victims, a pregnant woman and her unborn child. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth is live in Windsor Hills with the latest on the investigation and the arrest of that driver. Leo?
Indeed, my friend, an arrest has been made in this unspeakable tragedy. I'm here at the intersection where that tragedy happened, and you can see the makeshift memorial that you were just talking about. There are indeed flowers, candles, and believe me, folks dropping this stuff off, a lot of tears. The suspect arrested in this tragedy, identified by CHP as 37-year-old Nicole Linton. Here's more on this horrible, horrible tragedy.
Yesterday, I had 3 panic attacks.
Shauna Kerr, grief-stricken following the horrific crash at the intersection of Slauson and La Brea yesterday that claimed the lives of a half a dozen people, including her pregnant older sister, Asherey Ryan, better known by family as Ray Ray, and her toddler nephew, Alonzo Quintero. Family members saying Alonzo would have turned 1 in a few weeks.
Wow.
Shauna saying panic set in when she went to the scene of the crash.
I drove to the scene. I ran past the police officer just because I wanted to feel her energy one more time. Yesterday, I truly lost it.
Along with the victims killed.
Wow. DUI, driving under the influence, broke up with her boyfriend, got dumped, and just completely obliterates 6 people's lives. And if we want to count the baby in there, it was going on his 3rd trimester checkup, so that's a person too, unless y'all still think that's a clump of cells.
6 people were injured. Debris and carnage scattered across the intersection. Shauna saying her sister had simply left the house heading for her 3rd trimester pregnancy appointment when the worst happened.
Everybody's heartbroken. She literally walked out the door because we all live together. And she said, okay, I love y'all. I'm going to my doctor's appointment to check up on the baby. And I asked, like, oh, why don't you leave our nephew here? She said, no, I want to take my son for a ride. So knowing that really broke our hearts.
Oh my God.
Jesse Graham horrified seeing security video of the crash on the news, knowing he had just crossed the intersection a few hours before it happened.
When I saw the car go through the intersection and hit that car and the little babies and everybody, oh, it just touched my heart, man. It could have been me, it could be you, it could be any of us.
People showing up with flowers at the intersection where the crash happened, a makeshift memorial growing. Police arresting the driver of the car, identifying her as Nicole Linton. In the video, she appears to be speeding and running a red light before plowing into the victims. The CHP forwarding charges of vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence to the district attorney's office. An emotional interview from a witness who was just seconds away from the intersection when he saw the fireball from the crash and the gut-wrenching carnage.
I seen the pregnant mother that was laying on the side, that was pregnant. Then you seen the child, the baby.
Wow. That's insane, y'all. That is insane. Like I said, what do y'all think? What do y'all think that is, man? Should she be charged for another body on top of that? The woman was pregnant. Or is it still a clump of cells?
And folks, again, the makeshift memorial here at the intersection where this tragedy happened continues to grow, and there's a woman who just stopped by. She's not a family of any of the victims, but she has been in tears for the last 10 or 15 minutes. I've been chatting with her, so a lot of folks are just really hurting from this, including myself and a lot of you out there. I've been in news a very long time, as you well know, on the streets of LA, reporting for Eyewitness News, and this is one of the worst traffic accidents, tragedies I have witnessed in a very, very long time in my reporting career. Just sad. Prayers go out to all of the families of the victims in this tragedy.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all.
We are learning more about the lives lost in that horrific crash that killed 6 people, including a pregnant woman in Windsor Hills. This new video just released. Look at that speeding car tearing through the red light, plowing into several cars, igniting a fireball. The registered nurse who triggered this explosive pileup has been arrested.
These nurses, bruh, they always doing something, bruh. They always doing something.
Witness News reporter Amy Powell live at the scene where people have gathered tonight for an emotional vigil. Amy.
Mark, it's a crash that has shattered many lives. Throughout the day, family and community members have been coming to this intersection to remember the victims. Relatives and friends comfort the heartbroken father of an infant who died in a tragic collision. 11-month-old Alonzo was with his pregnant mother, Asherey Ryan. The 23-year-old and her unborn child also killed when their vehicle was struck by a speeding car.
I drove to the scene. I ran past the police officer just because I wanted to feel her energy one more time. Yesterday, I truly lost it.
Shauna Kerr says her sister, known to loved ones as Ray Ray, was in her 3rd trimester. She was heading to her doctor's office Thursday afternoon.
Wow.
She literally walked out the door because we all live together. And she said, okay, I love y'all. I'm going to my doctor's appointment to check up on the baby.
I remember her coming over, or me coming over and dropping my son off so I can go to work. They love my son. I loved her as like a sister. I mean, it still feels unreal.
Dozens holding a candlelight vigil at the intersection of Slauson and La Brea, where authorities say a Mercedes driven by 37-year-old Nicole Lorraine Linton ran a red light before plowing into several cars, some of the victims ejected, 2 of the vehicles exploding in flames. The CHP says Linton has been arrested on suspicion of vehicular manslaughter. Community members spending time at the memorial paying their respects to the victims.
I'm hurting for everyone that lost people tonight. I'm hurting for even the woman that caused the accident. But it hurts. Bruh,
Stop it. Stop giving the sympathy to the the super sister gremlins. Like, come on, man. You completely diminish the victims. Oh, I'm hurting for the woman who caused the crash. Dude, she's going 110 miles per hour in a Mercedes Benz and runs a red light. Didn't care about anybody else, so why should we care about her? Just because your boyfriend broke up with you? No, you don't get to do that and people feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And this is where the light sentences come into play. Dog, I hope this woman goes to prison for the rest of her life. But if she doesn't, then you will really see the way that these DAs and politicians in LA truly work.
me because it could have been me. I drive down this intersection daily.
Several people still out here on the street corner tonight. The district attorney's office is expected to make a decision perhaps as early as Monday about the charges that Linton will face. Reporting live in Windsor Hills, Amy Powell, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Tears and grief and an unimaginable loss for an LA family. We've learned the identity today of the pregnant woman killed in yesterday's horrific collision in Windsor Hills. Her name was Asherey Ryan, only 24 years old, a mother of a small child expecting another. She and 3 others were killed when a driver going up to 100 miles an hour blew a stop sign and caused a massive pileup. And today we've learned about the driver. The CHP says she is 37-year-old Nicole Linton. Her LinkedIn account shows she is a nurse at Kaiser West Los Angeles. The CHP says she has been arrested and is facing vehicular manslaughter charges. She is still in the hospital with what are described as moderate injuries. KCAL 9's Jeff Nguyen is live at the crash scene for us today. Jeff.
And Amy, right behind us, County Public Works employees have replaced the traffic light here that was destroyed because of yesterday's deadly crash. 5 people and an unborn child were killed, and today we are learning about 2 of the victims.
I can't be in this house no more to come in and not see her.
Cody Davis sat down with us to talk about her sister, Asherey Ryan, killed in Thursday's chain reaction crash, along with her son, who was a few days shy of his first birthday, and her unborn child. Ryan's sister says she went by the name Ray Ray.
I've never called her Asher in her life. It's always been Ray Ray.
Yeah. Davis says her sister was excited about her second pregnancy. So she was expecting a second boy?
Yes. She was on her way to the doctors.
The force of the crash caused this child seat to be ejected. It had belonged to Ryan's son, Alonzo.
He had the sweetest smile, like most beautiful smile in the world for everything, my nephew. He didn't deserve that.
Davis says her sister loved being a mom. This is a picture of Ryan and their other sister when the 2 first became pregnant for the first time.
She was a beautiful soul. I mean, She had the worst attitude, but she was so loving. She was so supportive.
I mean, we're getting a lot of tears, y'all. This is real emotion. I feel super bad for them. All the victims. I don't feel bad for the super sister gremlin that caused this accident. She's a POS, and she doesn't deserve freedom.
At the corner of La Brea and Slauson, a memorial is growing for the 5 victims and Ryan's unborn son. We asked Davis if she had anything to say to the person accused of the deadly crash.
She's gonna forgive him, but guys, just disregard that, please.
I don't have nothing to say to her, but I hope she feels every bit of pain that she's caused everybody.
Okay. That was real. I like that. I'm not mad at that.
And Ms. Ryan had 4 sisters. She shared a home with them and their mother. We are waiting to learn the identities of the other victims from the coroner's office. We are live in Windsor Hills. Jeff Nguyen, KCAL 9 News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.